is before you contact a private investigator, you need to consider this. Never leave a trace. If you're in a situation, say for instance, you suspect your partner's cheating and you don't want to let off that you're speaking or considering speaking to a private investigator, you need to not leave a trace. This is something that is not highlighted enough, and something I take quite importantly. Also try to reassure my clients that this is something I always have the whole picture in mind, not just getting you information. I'm wanting to keep you safe from disclosing that you are using a private investigator. First thing I would say is, if you're going to use your personal phone, if you're making any calls to a private investigator, delete that call. Just swipe it with an iPhone, must be the same with the other ones, the Samsungs, etc. And vice versa, if a private investigator calls you, delete that number as well. You just never know. Depending on the situation you're in, partners can go through phones and just get paranoid about stuff, so you need to consider all these aspects. Same with emails. If you're going to email a private investigator, delete that email. But ideally, if you're investigator you choose, what I like to do is I always call back on a hidden number. I'll never use my number, and just always have that consideration that, for instance, if you leave that number in your phone and your partner wants to check what that number is, they call it, goes, and a private investigator generally will answer, their company name. I try not to all the time. So with regards to, I would suggest getting a burner phone or a second phone, just pay as you go, or use a work phone. Open up a random email account that you can just keep for this situation where the investigator can send you information, send your invoice in, your reports, etc. Always remember to work out your top end budget. Got to appreciate this does get expensive. Generally would take a upfront payment to confirm the booking, confirm some hours, and then we can start working on the case in the sense of working on how long it's going to be, because it could generally be daily billing or depending on how long the actual case is, billed either weekly or monthly, or at the end of the case, depending on the relationship we can sort out. Another thing to consider is be careful telling close friends or just anyone to start off with, unless you know someone who's used a private investigator before. I've been in a situation where the client told her best friend, who's obviously they're friends with the family, so the husbands get on well. She told her best friend that she's going to hire a private investigator. The friends know that potentially things could be happening, and in passing she mentioned it to her husband, and then the husband gave it back to his mate, who's the husband to my client, and that just obviously just blew things up. So just in the start, it's something so personable to you. Maybe keep it that way to start off with things, and then as you receive information, if the information isn't the ideal circumstance, you're going to need that support. So that is a time to use your friends and family, but just be careful. And before you make that call, don't feel ashamed you calling a private investigator. At the end of the day, a private investigator is generally the last point of call. If you're using a good investigator, there's proof to be found. They'll find that proof for you and bring an end to the situation you are in. But the main thing is a private investigator will look at what it is they can do. You don't need to worry about shocking an investigator. The types of cases are never the same and are incredibly extreme sometimes, or just unique. So we will always we will never judge, we will just look at the situation and advise what we can do, what we feel is the best solution to start off with, or bring in other colleagues from alternative agencies if more things are needed. So it's complete case by case, but you'll come across that. You need to think about who you're going to use, how you found them, with regards to the actual investigator you're going to go with. But like I say, it's all about not leaving a trace. Only if it's going to go on for some time, you will build that relationship with the investigator to be able to work out how to be contacted, when to be contacted. But just to start things off with, because you're probably going to call maybe 2 or 3 investigating firms if you start in just from a search engine. So you are going to have some new numbers in your phone that weren't there. And for instance, if you share the bells, etc., etc. So just a lot of things to consider before making that initial call. Otherwise than that, please check out the website, get in touch. No case is too big or too small. And like I say, we will offer our services to you if we can, or give you alternative options that you can go with. But yeah, get in touch for any quotes, and obviously do with personal and corporate clients. Go on a case-by-case nature. Look forward to speaking to you. Keep well.